Hey guys, it's Derek here. We're going to take a look at the news from August 23rd to 29th. And yes, I did get a haircut. And yes, I hate it. Okay, so this week, Gamescom kicked off and also ended, I suppose. It was only a 3-day event. We're going to take a look at some of the announcements that happened during its opening night. The Jeff Keighley 2-hour thing. So what led the event was the announcement of the Saints Row reboot. So it's kind of a bit of a muted reboot kind of trailer here. All right, it's all CG, so there's no gameplay shown off. You are completely new characters, so the gang from the original Saints Row series are gone. Or at the very least, they're not the main characters of the game. You're introduced to the new gang. And it kind of starts off that you're kind of maybe waiting for it to turn into kind of the zany craziness that we've learned to expect from the Saints Row games, but it doesn't. It kind of just stays fairly muted for pretty much the whole trailer, and that has kind of led to a bit of backlash from the fan community from Saints Row. Some people are decrying whatever the wokeness or whatever of the trailer, but they can fuck off. But the other people kind of decrying that it just feels like it's every other open world game now. Like, it doesn't feel like Saints Row. Basically, is the crux of their complaints about the game, and it's hard to tell without seeing any actual gameplay, so we don't know. There was a very tiny amount of gameplay shown off and a tiny sizzle reel that was, I think, 10 seconds of very heavy cuts. It was really hard to tell what was how the game is actually going to play. Is it going to play any different? Is it basically just a GTA clone like it was the original Saints Row? Anyway, the reboot will be coming out February 25th, 2022. Then we finally got a look at the rumored Marvel game from Firaxis, so the people behind XCOM. So again, all CG. None of this is gameplay. Again, we don't know how the game is going to play. We only have the kind of quotes from Solomon, the game's director, who's kind of saying it doesn't play like XCOM, which we can only say, why did they give it to you? Why did they approach Firaxis with the game if it's not gonna play like XCOM? I don't get it. Anyway, this is kind of just showing off the characters. You'll see Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Wolverine is in here somewhere. There's Magic with a K. Blade there in the background. How many of these characters will be playable? How many of them will be paid DLC, etc.? We don't really know. Again, we don't really know much about the game, other than there will be a main character who is completely new, who's basically you. You know, it's your character. You kind of make them up, and they have various abilities, and the game is somewhat centered around the more occult parts of Marvel. So, like, what do you call it? Mostly the Ghost Rider stuff, I suppose, like the Marvel version of Hell and that kind of thing. I'm struggling to remember the names of the guys. It's like Mephisto, Blackheart, Lilith, I think that's meant to be Lilith, and so on. There's like a bunch of kind of demonic stuff from Marvel. Anyway, we know very little about the game, other than like a CG trailer, and apparently the mutants are in it. Then some shit about Call of Duty, but nobody cares. Halo Infinite, all it mentioned was that it's getting a release date, so it's December 8th it'll be coming out, and they also mentioned a controller and a console for the release. Cult of the Lamb is another thing, is another Devolver Digital joint. It's like a kind of base builder sort of brawler RPG kind of thing. Most of this is just animated trailer. but you are the lamb, I guess, who is some kind of demonic devil thing, and you kind of build up your base of other woodland creatures and kind of help them fend off other demonic threats while also cultivating your demonic threat, I suppose. It looks fun, and it's like, it actually looks gorgeous. Like, really nice color choices. It's very vibrant, and I really dig the kind of sort of 3D, sort of 2D look they've got going. It's really interesting. Then Midnight Fight Express was shown off last year at last Gamescom. This is kind of an edit of the actual live event itself, because the trailer doesn't have its own presence. But anyway, from Humble Games, this is a brawler type game, but it just looks slick. It's like you're in, like, you want to take the kind of John Wick and then Batman Arkham kind of systems, where it just feels like a really fluid looking combat game. And there's some dumb shit in it too, with like grappling hooks, and I don't know, maybe you can DDT some guys or something like that. The one interesting thing is it's by a single developer, which is like huge, like that they can do all of this. How much of it is an actual story game, how much of it is like a party game, or it's an arcade type thing, we don't know. We really don't know much about it, other than it looks cool. Another trailer for TMNT, Shredder's Revenge. This was basically just showing off that there's a new playable character. So other than the 4 turtles, you'll also be able to play as April O'Neil. That's kind of the only change here. So she can play alongside the turtles, and she drops the mic as a combo ender, which is also pretty funny. One thing, I'm not sure if it's going to show it here. I wonder, do they show off the art at the end? Okay, so looking at the art here, with the turtles and then April on the side, it sure looks like there should be somebody here to balance it out. So maybe there's another playable character. Don't know who it'll be. Casey Jones, maybe. Splinter, maybe just a complete guest character. Don't know. But it looks like there'll be another person on this side. IMO. There's nothing official about that. Sega announcing that alongside Kiryu from the Yakuza series, that there will also be Morgana from the Persona 5 game, or the Persona series if you prefer, will also be joining the Super Monkey Ball shenanigans as post-launch DLC. And the collectibles are all kind of Persona 5 based, treasure chests and that kind of thing, as Morgana is a thief in the game. That's all. It was kind of building up who's going in the monkey ball, but yeah, that's what it is. And something about Splitgate that I don't really care about, and Riders Republic that I also don't really care about. Century Age of Ashes is a free-to-play dragon flying PvP game, so I went to sleep. UFL is another football game. I really don't care. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga came back to basically announce that it's still here. That's all. We still don't know when the game's coming out. Like, it was meant to come out this year, early this year, and it never did. So that hasn't changed. We still don't know when it's coming out. It's just kind of highlighting that, yeah, the game's still here. It's still funny. It's still a Lego game. That's kind of it. Reminder. And then a reminder that it's going to be the all 9 games, so the 3 trilogies. Whether you like it or not, it's gonna be all 9 games, or all 9 films rather. Synced Off Planet was starting to look good until they called it a PvPvE game, and then I went to sleep. Outlast Trials is skip it here. It's somewhat a prequel. Yes, I'm an old man. It's fine. I can watch this. It's somewhat a prequel to the original Outlast. It's dropping you in with, if you're not familiar with the kind of storyline, there was a sort of grand conspiracy company behind the whole Outlast thing. I forget the name of it now. But basically it's dropping you in as if you were a trial subject. and you're just basically tasked with surviving many different horrible things that they're about to throw at you. It feels a bit Dead by Daylight. Maybe without one player actually controlling a killer type deal. I don't know. Maybe that's what it sounds like to me. That it's gonna be a kind of Dead by Daylight clone type deal with different maps and different monster types and what have you. Whether a player actually plays the monster or not, we don't know. It could be entirely just a co-op game rather than an asymmetric type thing. We don't know. We don't know yet. Then Dokev actually, like, kind of out of nowhere, because I knew, well, maybe not out of nowhere. I'm sure other people probably knew about it. I knew nothing about this game. But this is kind of a rip-off of Pokemon, in what you'll see in a minute, but with fucking incredible graphics and a music track that I can't play because it's almost certainly copyrighted. So you'll just have to take my word for it. But it's a pretty good track. Like, so this is being billed as an online game. Not clear if it's an MMO or if it's something a bit smaller than that, but it is pretty much Pokemon, but with like a kind of open world, always online kind of deal. I'm sure we'll get to the Pokemon part in a moment, where you can you have different animal companions called Dokebi, I think is what they're called. Dokevi is the game. They're really taking their time getting to the animal companion part, but okay, we'll get there in a bit. And you can battle alongside them, kind of thing. So there's the battles playing out with the different monster types. Like, you know how when you see like a new Pokemon game comes out and then people do side by sides with like Skyrim or Breath of the Wild or something like that, and you're like, why can't it look like this? And then you see something like this and you go, holy shit. How well this game will actually look when it actually releases, debatable. Like, this could very much be a bullshot situation. Almost certainly is a bullshot situation, but you know, we'll find out, I suppose, whenever it happens. This trailer is actually fairly lengthy and goes into a lot of the different things that you'll be able to do in the game. Maybe, again, we don't know much about it, but it's from the Black Desert guys, and the Black Desert game looks incredible. I don't know how well it plays because I've never played it, but it looks really good. Then we had Jurassic World Evolution 2 just came by to announce its release date. It's coming out November 9th, so end of this year. And there was something about Far Cry. Don't care. Ubisoft are a big pile of scum, and I really don't want to give them any press. Vampire the Masquerade, the Battle Royale. Who cares? Park Beyond is a new kind of amusement park builder game. So if you remember, it's like theme park, that kind of thing, or Roller Coaster Tycoon, that type of deal. Only it's a bit more mishmash, or a bit more of like a matchup thing where you'll have like launching roller coasters out of cannons kind of thing. Like, it'll be a bit nuts. This is primarily a CG trailer. I don't think they get too much into the gameplay or what the gameplay will look like, but I think you can kind of guess. It's you know, overworld kind of thing where you build your different amusements and raise the prices of popcorn to make more money and that kind of thing. What you going for? It's been a while since there's been I was gonna say it's been a while since there's been an amusement park one, but there was a new one recently enough. Anyway, that's Park Beyond. It's only just been announced, so we don't know a whole lot about it just yet. Jet to Far Shore came by to announce its release date, October 5th. We already saw a bit about that on the Nintendo Indie World Showcase thing. Horizon Forbidden West came by to announce a delay. It never had an official release date, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, it never had a release date. There were rumors that it was going to be delayed, but again, you can't really delay something if it never had an official release date, so I suppose. Anyway, it'll be February as well, just like Saints Row, so February 18th, 2022. New World came by to announce open beta. So if you're not familiar, New World is the MMO from Amazon that looks like a pretty standard medieval MMO type thing. Again, none of this is gameplay. That was all like it could be gameplay just from with a free moving camera or whatever. But anyway, announcing an open beta. Open beta will be from September 9th to the 12th, and it will have its full launch on the 28th of September this year. Jumanji, nobody cares. Deadmau5 came by to announce money. He wants more money. That's those about it. Fall Guys is getting a Jungle Book crossover, so more costumes and maybe some more events. Replaced got a trailer, but it's not like they didn't show anything particularly new. So you might remember this was in Summer Games Fest, I think it was shown off. It looked really, really cool, really interesting. The trailer doesn't tell us anything really new about the game. The trailer's here mostly to announce that the theme song is available to be played on streaming platforms. Spotify, I think was the one they went with. It's here somewhere. Oh, just on the website, sorry. It's a really cool song. You check that out. Age of Empires 4 got a trailer, kinda. It was more of a... They've been doing a couple of these where they sort of do like a historical thing, where they build the actual weaponry and siege engines and stuff like that. Oh wait, no. No, this is the actual trailer where they showed off some stuff. Okay. There was a thing during the event where they went with like historical reenactment people to build an actual trebuchet and see how it worked and why it's so devastating and so on, which is pretty cool. It was really interesting. In a different way to market a game. You know, I mean, I think the people who would be interested in these kind of games would probably have an interest in that kind of thing. And then there's also an actual trailer where they gave the release date. Valheim is doing something. Dunno, never played Valheim. Aloy is coming to Genshin Impact, which I've mentioned already. It's coming during the 2.1 update, which is in September. Sifu got its release date. It's going to be February 22nd. February's getting kind of heavy. There's 3 games at least that I don't know if I actually want to play Saints Row. I probably will. Anyway, just for something to do. I definitely want to play Sifu. And I haven't played the original Horizon yet, so I don't know. I will probably wait. I don't imagine I'll have completed it by then. Anyway, Sifu looks excellent. It's like it sort of looks like it's the Arkham system, but it's hard to tell. It feels like as far as I'm aware, the Absolver kind of worked like that, in that it was more of a directional thing where you just moved between different enemy types. You stab that guy in the dick. Okay, it's good shit right there. Yeah, so it got its release date. It's going to be out February 22nd, 2022. And then the event finished with a not great, and just one more thing. Like, it wasn't a great finish, but it was the Death Stranding Director's Cut. There's a new trailer, and to kind of show off some of the new things that you'll be able to do that I'm honestly not thrilled about. I think it kind of plays against a lot of the things that made Death Stranding work. We'll go through them here anyway. Like, some new stuff is there is now a glide thing, so you can, basically undo most of the good stuff about Death Stranding, which was like walking around in the environment, just taking it in and navigating, all that kind of thing. I can see this as a New Game Plus kind of thing. That would be fine, but as part of the original game, I think it will detract from it quite a bit. There's some other stuff they've added. There's a cannon that you can fire your cargo. Again, okay, I can see in one way it will be useful in that you can, a lot of times you'd have to just not be able to carry stuff just because you're overloaded and I can't carry any extra stuff. But if you could take stuff to a catapult and launch it to wherever you're going, I suppose it works out. Got BuddyBot, who I think was added in the PC version. I'm not sure. but he will either follow along beside you, or you can just tell him to go somewhere and he'll go there. I believe in real time. Like, he actually has to go himself, but I don't think he gets attacked because he's not a living entity, so enemies wouldn't attack him. Although I'd imagine if you send him through mercenary areas, they might try to attack him. New facility stuff is a shooting gallery and a kind of VR mission type deal from like a Metal Gear Solid VR mission. So it'll set up different scenarios for you to try out the different weapons, and you can see how they are useful, like the sticky gun that you can like actually steal equipment off people and that kind of thing, or just get used to the different weapons, because you have very few reasons to ever use the guns in Death Stranding for most part, so it's possible you wouldn't necessarily know how they work until you're sort of forced to learn. You can replay boss battles, which is cool. I'm going to skip ahead on that just because they're a little spoilery. And then you can... something... There's more music. Is that just the bosses? Yes. Okay, so there's more music. There's a lot of pretty good music in Death Stranding. This is the part that I'm actually interested in playing, because this looks like it's a long-running mission thread that is almost entirely stealthy, because you're having to infiltrate a base of the bad guys, more or less. And this was shown off a little bit in Summer Game Fest, where it felt very Metal Gear. It was definitely a homage, a fromage to Metal Gear, but it does feel kind of like it. Definitely the music they played over it was very Metal Gear. Looks cool. Like, it's very, like, you do kind of stealth around in the different camps or whatever, but it's always easy to just get the fuck out of there. It's never really a problem. This looks like it'll be different, and I'm interested to see what they're planning, because if you haven't played Death Stranding, you mightn't be aware, but dead bodies in Death Stranding are a real problem. Like, a serious problem, because they attract the monster type enemies. So having them all piled up here together, that's a big problem. That's a really, really big problem. So this will be interesting to see where they're going with the story for this. And then a couple of other things. There's some jump ramps, and your bike getting some incredible air that it absolutely should not be getting all that air. And you can stunt on it. Photo mode, and then there's also a racetrack type thing. So some of this stuff is just fun zaniness. Some of it I think will detract a little bit from Death Stranding. Like the core concept of the game. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest. Anyway, that was how how Gamescom's opening night ended. So all of those things, kind of disappointing, to be honest. Like the Saints Row, we don't know enough about it, and it does feel like it's walking back the ridiculousness from what Saints Row 3 and 4 had kind of were building up to, just being just ridiculous shit, and it just feels like it's going back, and so that's not great. Marvel Midnight Suns, I was really interested when I just thought it was XCOM but Marvel characters. I was like, yes, cool, I will play that, only for them to come back and say it doesn't play like XCOM, and I'm like, why though? Just make that game. Call of Duty, I don't care. Halo Infinite, I don't personally care. Cult of the Lamb looked fun. I'm just hoping it actually comes to a console I can play it on. Midnight Fight Express, it's like summer 2022, we don't know, and we also don't quite know what kind of game it'll be. I'm hopeful it's gonna be like a Streets of Rage type thing. That's kind of what I want. Character reveal for TMNT. I mean, I'll probably play the game anyway. I'm not gonna play Super Monkey Ball, but it's kind of funny that all the characters are getting in. I don't care about Splitgate. I don't care about Riders Republic. Century Age of Ashes is going to be another lair. It's going to be another flop. I don't care about football. Lego Star Wars is just, they're just dragging it out. I don't know. The game's been coming out for like 2 years now. Synced Off Planet, actually I'll show it a little bit, because it looked like it was going to be kind of interesting. Until they went with the PvPvE thing, and I just went, nope, I'm out of here. So it's like fighting robots and nanomachines, and nanomachines taking over people. Only your character can control nanomachines. Isn't that lucky? It just seemed like it was going to be an interesting concept, or not even super interesting concept, but like the effects were really cool. Thought it might be an interesting idea where you also have your own nanomachine robots fighting other robots. But knowing that it's going to be PvPvE is just like, I don't care. I've lost all interest in it. Outlast Trials looks, again, what I assume is going to be a Dead by Daylight kind of thing, which isn't all that interesting to me. Dokev or Dokev, or I'm not actually sure how you're meant to pronounce it. I think it's Dokev. Just, it looks too good. It looks too good. There's a catch somewhere because it looks way too good. Jurassic World Evolution, no. Far Cry, fuck off Ubisoft. I never understood why vampires needed guns. I don't get it. You don't need guns. You don't need them. You have vampire powers. What do you need guns for? Park Beyond, we don't know enough about it. Jet the Far Shore looked cool on the Indie World Showcase, and it's coming to PlayStation as well. So I'll be able to play it. Looks cool. It has a release date. Great. Horizon Forbidden West finally has a release date. Great for people who are waiting on it. I still haven't played the first one, so it's gonna be a while for me. I'm already deep in Final Fantasy XIV, so it's unlikely I'm gonna touch New World. I thought this was a mobile game, the Jumanji thing. Deadmau5 just wants money. I don't play Fall Guys. Replaced again. There was nothing new. It looks really good, and I'm interested to play it, but there was nothing new there. Age of Empires, I'm not interested in that type of game. I don't play Valheim. I already knew about Aloy coming to Genshin Impact. Sifu looks really good. We're getting a release date, and then as we were saying, the Death Stranding Director's Cut stuff. Some of it looks really good, and some of it I could care less about. Okay, so new releases this week. So first up is No More Heroes 3. It's coming to Switch. Coming to everything, I think. Definitely Switch anyway. So Travis Touchdown returns as I think actually it might just be Switch. He's coming back to make pretend masturbation jokes while he recharges his lightsaber. Is not lightsaber, and takes on various alien superpowered creatures and stuff. I have a feeling that you kind of know already what you're getting into with No More Heroes. It's wacky boss fights and kind of stupid shit just all over the place. I think No More Heroes 1 and 2 are already on sale, I think, on the Switch. So if you wanted to, you could check those out first. It's probably cheap enough. But it's, in general, the No More Heroes games are fight just a bunch of crazy bosses. Doing crazy shit, more or less. And it's by Suda, and Suda always makes some just dumb stuff. Then we have Psychonauts 2. The long-awaited sequel to Psychonauts 1. It's been like 10 years or something? Anyway, Raz returns to do his psycho business against various people. And it's your kind of general platformy type thing, but with some really good characters, some really funny stuff, and some really fucked up stuff in there as well. Again, people who have been waiting on it kind of already really know what they're getting themselves into, or are probably already well aware that the game came out this week and are playing it right now and not watching this video. Anyway, Psychonauts 2. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, it's time for our weekly dose of rage. Actually, not a whole lot of industry bullshit this week, because a lot of the games industry and games press are tied up with Gamescom and those kind of games announcements, so plenty of time for Activision to pull some bullshit, which they did. So, Activision Blizzard lawsuit expanded to include contractors, claims publisher shredded documents. So, first off, the lawsuit itself has been amended to say that it is now on behalf of the company's contractors and claiming the firm. Sorry, read that again. They've redefined it as the group that they represent, as that now includes temporary workers in addition to the female full-time staff previously stated. So contractors and full-time staff will now be covered by this lawsuit as well. And then also DFEH are claiming that the firm Activision Blizzard interfered with its 2-year investigation. So basically, they're alleging that Activision Blizzard has failure to maintain and produce records. After stating various laws that dictate what records and documents companies should keep, the DFEH claims it issued a document retention notice to Activision Blizzard as soon as it filed the original complaint. The notice basically says, do not destroy, conceal, or alter any documents or data relevant. The DFEH notes that Activision Blizzard's response was the public announcement of its decision to call in law firm WilmerHale for an internal review. This is important. It's important that it was a law firm they called in. You'll see why in a minute. You'll see why right now, actually. By telling employees to speak confidentially to WilmerHale, who are a law firm, the DFEH claims Activision Blizzard has directly interfered with its ability to investigate, prosecute, and remedy the violations cited in its suit. Anything you tell a law firm? Attorney-client privilege. Which means if the DFEH want to source any of those interviews or any of the data documents relating to it, they can. Because they're sorry, attorney-client privilege can't help you out there. Sorry. During its investigation, Activision Blizzard refused to produce documents regarding complaints and investigations of discrimination and harassment by asserting that they did not exist, or that they were privileged and confidential because attorneys were involved in the receipt of complaints and the investigation. They basically took all of their dirty laundry and are hiding it behind attorney-client privilege, assuming they didn't just destroy them outright. Activision Blizzard issued a statement on the matter to IGN in which it claims it complied with every proper request. Every proper request. Meaning every request it didn't comply with was improper for some reason. It also denies that it shredded any documents, but they did. The rest of this article kind of just goes on to point to the history of this lawsuit, which we're all, like, if you're watching this video, you're already aware of. The FEH alleges that Activision Blizzard is fostering a toxic workplace full of sexual harassment and discrimination and so on. And Activision Blizzard originally said these were false. These are false accusations and absolutely untrue. But then they said that we've made changes to our workplace. So which is it? Were they false and untrue? If they were false and untrue, why would you feel the need to make any changes? And if it's the case that you feel like you needed to make changes, then perhaps they weren't false and untrue. And where are your documents to suggest that it was false and misleading? Sorry, we shredded them. Anyway, sticking with Blizzard at least, Blizzard is changing McCree's name in Overwatch bid lawsuit. So, you might remember last week, maybe the week before, McCree's namesake, so Jesse McCree, longtime Blizzard designer, was let go from the company. So this is kind of a follow-up to this in that Blizzard will be changing the character's name to something else. And as a knock-on effect, they are also pushing back the next kind of story arc for Overwatch. I didn't know Overwatch had a story, but okay. They'll have to push that back because they gotta change the guy's fucking name, so whatever. Also, the rest of this article kind of just goes on to point out that they won't be naming anything in games based on employees or real people from now on. It's like it'll be a policy change that they won't be including those kind of things. Some updates down here is to point out that they are scrubbing from some other games that McCree and a couple of other developers who have since been let go. That they'll also be removing those things and either renaming them or removing them entirely. And I just realized that I have the same haircut now. So I hate that haircut even more. Awesome. Okay. IGN republishes Palestinian aid post with edits. So 3 months ago, there was an article and a story going around the industry, and I put up on this video series as well. IGN had a kind of call to action, sort of charity outreach or aid outreach kind of thing for Palestine, which was then taken down and then put back up again and then taken down, and a bunch of other like shenanigans. And there was a bunch of drama around it on who was taking it down and why was it being taken down and why didn't you just edit it and leave it up and so on. But it's back up now with a lot of changes. So some of the changes. So originally it would have stated Palestinian civilians are currently suffering due to Israeli forces, has now been changed to civilians are currently suffering. That's it. Originally it also said a catastrophic loss of Palestinian lives, has now been changed to a tragic loss of Palestinian lives. I'm not, like, I don't want to get into semantics or actual, like, definitions of things, but I kind of feel like if something was avoidable or something was inflicted on somebody purposefully, can you still call it a tragedy? I don't think it works that way. Anyway, what they've chosen to change, like, says a lot. Additionally to the article going back up, they've also added this kind of amendment. An IGN employee council, with the advice of third-party ombudsman and leadership, are in agreement that the post required adjustments to be more culturally conscientious of our staff, excuse me, of our staff's and our audience's potential reading. We regret the error in publishing without those adjustments and recognize that our processes failed us. Processes? We are also in agreement that instead of taking down the post, we should have updated the post. Yes, you should have. You should not have taken it down because it just sparked a whole bunch of bullshit. Anyway, going forward, their editorial practice will be to just add notes or updates and things like that rather than taking articles down entirely, which is what you're supposed to do as a journalist. Okay. Twitch streamers organize a day off Twitch in protest of hate raids. So last week before, time has lost all this meaning. Anyway, Twitch has an ongoing issue of harassment and hate raids and just a whole bunch of toxic shit going on that it is just doing zero about. So as a way to highlight this and kind of sort of hit Twitch in its wallet, it's not going to, but I guess they're going to try. Content creators on Twitch are planning a one-day strike. It's going to be September 1st, which is Wednesday. They're planning to refusing to log on and create or even spectate Twitch streams on the 1st of September. So the idea is that Twitch just becomes a ghost town on the 1st of September, and they're trying to get more streamers involved, more like big name streamers, because obviously that's where they'll actually feel the hit, but that's not going to happen because the big name streamers get their money from that, and they don't want to fuck with that. So good luck, and I hope you get something out of it. I won't be streaming on Wednesday, 1st of September, and that's not just because I haven't been streaming for fucking months. Anyway, good luck to them. Twitch's response: we've seen a lot of conversation about botting, hate raids, and other forms of harassment targeting marginalized creators. You're asking us to do better, and we know we need to do more to address these issues, but we're not going to. That includes an open and ongoing dialogue about creator safety. There's been no dialogue because you just don't talk about it. Also admitted there was vulnerability in our proactive filters. Your filters are fucking useless. We need to keep updating this to address emerging issues. Cool, do that. Step 1. Patch notes. What did you change? Okay. Last thing. 38 studio staff receive final paycheck 9 years after closure. So, may not be familiar with this because it's a story that's almost 10 years old now at this point, but 38 Studios, originally founded by ex-baseball player Kurt Schilling, was set up to make the Kingdoms of Amalur game. As in, it was going to be more than one, it was going to be a full series, it was going to turn into an MMO and replace World of Warcraft and so on. That didn't happen for a great number of reasons, most of them being embezzlement. Anyway, former employees of the now defunct 38 Studios are reportedly receiving their final wages almost a decade after the company was shut down. Payouts were decided by a Delaware court in June. A lot of these checks and payouts were sent to old addresses as they had to relocate for new jobs in the 9 years since 38 Studios collapsed. Yeah, I moved. You moved us all to fucking Rhode Island. There's no fucking game development scene there. And then you closed the studio. Fucking thanks. Thanks, Kurt. Around 400 employees are expected to receive payment, but it will not be the full amount owed. Employees who worked in the Rhode Island studio will only receive 14% of what they were owed. That's pretty small. It's less than the fucking name of the studio. And the studio, and the Maryland office will only receive 20%. So even combined, it's still less than the number of the studio. It's 34%. I don't know. I don't even. Why is it? I don't know. It's probably a baseball reason why it's called 38 Studios, but whatever. So, like, the rest of this article kind of gives a very broad overview of the bullshit, but it's I was gonna say it's a good story. It's not really a good story, but it's an interesting story to look into why it failed so dramatically. Anyway. So 38 Studios is reporting debts of, when it filed for bankruptcy, it was reporting debts of $150 million to over 1,000 creditors, and only one of those creditors was the state of Rhode Island, the entire thing. Because they spent a ton of money to pull them into Rhode Island, out of Boston, where there was a game dev scene, to Rhode Island, where there's no game dev scene. Absolutely fucking up those employees' lives, but thanks. At one point, 38 Studios was more focused on paying a $75 million loan related to the move to Rhode Island, rather than paying its staff. Anyway, there's a bunch of bullshit going on for the whole 38 Studios thing. I would encourage you to look it up. Anyway, those were the stories for 23rd to 29th of August 2021. Some interesting stuff from Opening Night Live, but still overall kind of disappointing. I don't really know what could have come out there that would have made it more interesting to me, to be honest. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just heavily jaded these days. Who knows? Games industry has obviously been slowed down, much like everybody else, because of COVID and the pandemic. So we're not getting as many announcements and updates and game releases and so on, which is to be expected. Like, you can't expect it to have changed really all that much. Elsewhere on the channel, see that I have put up a video for Greek Memories of Azure, and I got a key from Team 17, which was highly unexpected. Like, I thought it was an absolute fluke getting it for Song of Horror and then getting a second one. I don't know. Can two separate PR people make mistakes? I guess it's possible. Two is a coincidence, right? And then 3 is a trend. So if we get a third one, we might be onto something. I did not manage to get the next part of Plague Tale out last week, so hoping to do that this week instead. So part 6 and hopefully part 7 to make up for the missing week. And then I am sort of hoping to make them 2 videos a week instead of 1, just because I wanted to get onto other games to show off too. So do look out for that later on. As for like a Foley Plays for a Bit video this week, I haven't decided on one, and there may not be one, just because I want to get more Plague Tale parts out, so I might focus on that instead. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you think of my terrible haircut, and I'll see you guys next time.